Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. You're in a mall and these silly Billy animatronics are chasing after you in their bobsled. What? They have a racetrack. But what if I told you this mall, this whole story, is a substitution of a flashback? And going down one more level of stairs, a therapy session. I saw this theory from YouTube user Mirage Uchiha. But before we start to get knee deep, guys, if you find yourselves enjoying this video at any point, please leave a like rating on the video. It's absolutely free and is one of the best ways to help and show support. And if you have not yet, make sure you're subscribed for more security breach videos. If you could, I would really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And without any further ado, let's just dive on in. Since this game was announced, so many questions have surfaced over this game. How will it be formatted? What are some gameplay mechanics? Will this building lose power at any point? And what we'll be touching upon here, will there be a night system? The latest speculation regarding the night system in this game is one night, vastly different than your typical and traditional FNAF game. The newest official game description claims, trapped overnight in Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. Different than past game descriptions, which would claim you're a night guard working the night shift, which would infer a week. Mirage Uchiha had an idea that this game would span over 5 or more nights, but each night will present as a flashback in a 5 or more day session of therapy, after hearing news of a new voice actor in the role of a therapist. So, Gregory. Much like Crying Child, who's a boy who's gone through insane traumatic events. In Crying Child's case, being experimented on by his father, being terrorized by his big brother, and forced to have a birthday party at an establishment he was scared of. There are theories that suggest Gregory is Crying Child, but perhaps we'll save that for another video. But anyway, according to this theory, we began the game/week with day 1 of Gregory's therapy session. As we've just covered, Gregory has some current traumatic events to juggle, and we don't even know if he has any past events like that, but as of now, he didn't make it out before closing. He's being chased by hypnotized animatronics, barely made it out alive, and to top it all off, he's being hunted by a crazy yet alluring woman in a rabbit costume wielding a knife. It sure feels like a kid would certainly need some sort of therapy after that description, especially knowing that didn't even cover all of his troubles. Upon finally escaping the Mega Pizzaplex, probably even having seen Glamrock Freddy sacrifice himself for him, Gregory breaks free from this nightmare and continues his normal life. But having gone through this dual-alley traumatic event, this left the boy quite messed up in the head. If you guys know the episode Camp Krustier from The Simpsons, keep that plot in mind while we discuss this. But if you don't know that episode, like the show, or need a refresher, basically, Bart and Lisa Simpson went to Camp Krusty and returned home in a traumatized state. The kids were taken to therapy, and later in the episode, we see what was the cause of the state of theirs. While Bart, Lisa, and a kid named Charlie went canoeing on this rapidly harsh water during a torrential storm, Charlie fell out of the canoe and they thought he had drowned right before their own eyes. But anyway, back to Gregory. So, each therapy session equals 1 level of gameplay. The therapist would journey Gregory through his memories from whence he came from however long ago, and try to help us recover from the trauma by putting us in some kind of a therapist trance thing. You know, the one where we close our eyes tighter and tighter until we close them too tight. I love that joke. And boom, Gregory is reliving his events to conquer his demons. And there is a part in Mirage Uchiha's theory which I really like how they worded. Quote, "Then, as soon as we are all gathered around for our friend to blow out the candles, the screen goes black, then we hear a timer beeping/buzzing. We wake up in the therapist's office and she says, 'Okay, you're awake now, Gregory. That was a good session. We will have another tomorrow.'" End quote. And then tomorrow's session would initiate the next level of the gameplay. And the reason why I like that wording is because if you've seen some of my latest security breach videos, you'd know the amount of references that this game is calling back to older games and events, and more specifically, Five Nights 4. And in their wording, the screen goes black, then we hear a timer beeping/buzzing. Quite comparable with FNAF 4, and let's take it another step further, shall we? Because tomorrow is another day. Now, speaking of callbacks to past events and such, allow me to support this theory with some evidence I've gathered from my own theories. So, if you've watched my Freddy and Friends on Tour videos, you'd know I caught on to this repeating factor. I've always linked that to Glitchtrap's plan, part of that being installing a virus into the Glamrock animatronics, one by one, which is what the episodic Foxy threats in the cartoon signified, and a secret hidden glitch of 3 Glamrock animatronics appearing broken and cracked. And the creator of these glitches, Sir Glitchelford Trap Squire himself, tried his damnedest to hide their eyes each and every time. So yeah, it's out of the question there's a repeating factor going on. But according to this theory, is there any kind of repeating factor? Why, there certainly is. Going for therapy for 5 or more sessions, one after another. All sessions might even end with that timer beeping and buzzing, which would be another repeating factor. Tomorrow is another day. Something mentioned from Mirage Uchiha I also really liked was the idea of maybe the gameplay is separated. We run through the game first as Gregory, all simulated through a flashback therapy session, and after we finish that, Gregory may return to the mall in person after having conquering his demons. Thus begins the second part of the gameplay, where this time we're playing as Vanessa, and it's here where Gregory has returned, and the same event has happened all over again. Think of it like Danganronpa 3 Future Arc. Makoto, Aoi, and Kyoko were forced to participate in a killing game years later after having survived the previous one. But anyway, this is where the Vanessa gameplay would begin. It may be the same situation rolling out again, but this time, as the Night Guard, come some advantages along the way. Keys, key cards, unlimited flashlight battery, being the sexiest woman alive. What was I saying? But our overall mission as Vanessa will be to put an end to Vanny's killings once and for all, protect Gregory, and stop Glitchtrap's plans for taking its final step. But then, there's another side to this therapy theory. One would first think this therapist is meant for Gregory, but lately, some have been pondering that this therapist is for Vanny. I'm thinking like a rehabilitation thing. This would end the game off with Vanny snapping out of her Glitchtrap-infected state, thusly being cured, and she'll continue her job at the Fazbear Funtime service, under her real name, Ness. Later having copies of the Glamrock animatronics function as delivery animatronics, hinted at by Illumix themselves. Also mentioned in my top 10 theory video for Security Breach, the Mega Pizzaplex and Fazbear Entertainment have multiple models and versions of the Glamrock animatronics. And yeah, everything will go back to normal. Oh, and speaking of my top 10 theory video, my latest one held an interesting theory where Vanny, aka Ness, is Vanessa's sister. So, by this logic, she'll remember her family too. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you made it this far into this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your time. And if you enjoyed, why not leave a like rating on the video? If you could, thank you so much for your support. And it is absolutely one of the greatest ways to help out and show support. This theory actually came from someone who reached out to me in the comment section in a video from months ago, I think. Yeah. Definitely months ago. And when they were telling me their theory, I didn't actually know at that point that there was actually someone in the game who was going to be a therapist. A news came out a while ago saying that a new voice actor was going to be in this game, and that person would be voicing a therapist, which I had no idea about during my time reading the theory. And when I was live a few days ago, at whenever I'm doing it right now, some of you guys have been telling me that there is indeed actually a therapist in the game, or to be in the game. So yeah, that was news to me. I had no clue that that was actually happening, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. And a really interesting part is that it really could go two ways, because Gregory one way and Vanny the other way. Like, who knows who would have who. Both sides seem like exactly 50-50% of who would need the therapist. Like, they both need one, obviously. But yeah, both of them have like really good reason to have a therapist in their life at this point. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to this channel, subscribe for more FNAF videos. I promise you, you will not regret the future videos to come. And if you want to be notified for those videos, why not tap that bell down below? And yeah, I will most certainly hope to see you guys in the next video. Stay fresh.